Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Bill. I am that expat prepper living in the Philippines. Today is September 3rd, 2024, a day after the town I live in was flooded. Now, this is the Philippines, and we do have flooding from time to time. This particular typhoon was different, right? So we had a large amount of water dumped in a short amount of time. And this is the kind of flooding we see here once every 5 to 10 years. Now, I do want to say that it was early morning around 7, so people had daylight to work with, and they saw the water coming. It wasn't like a 2 a.m. flood, thankfully. So the loss of life in this whole region is going to be minimized just for that factor alone. The local government out here um, is prepared, but they're also inundated, right? So they have their family and friends, and as they monitor the situation and they dispatch the resources they have available, I guess the priority is the elderly, the people that had water up to their roof, and getting people off of roofs and getting people um, just to higher ground. As a prepper, these are things that you have to consider in the first hours of something like this is the immediate safety of folks, right? So a lot was happening um, in the early mornings. We did not open up our business as um, all the roads were flooded, right? So a lot of businesses were closed. So any resource you might have looked for it was not going to be there, right? So you're on on your own with your neighbors. And here's the thing, guys, as a prepper, I got lucky. My property was not in a flood zone. It did not get flooded, and we did not lose power. However, many of our neighbors and friends, that was not the case for them, right? So even if they had food supplies and water and prepping material, the odds are it was probably soaked, right? They didn't have it, in an area where they could get to it after the fact. So this is 24 hours since the flooding, and now we're in a big cleanup phase, right? So what we're talking about here is just a mess. So, all these guys' food, all their supplies, everything that they might have had is gone, let alone all their possessions and everything. And yesterday morning, the priority was, like I said, getting people off the roofs, getting people out of trapped houses. A lot of people were stuck in their homes. And then there was no power, of course, right? So, again, thankfully, this happened during the day. Now, again, as a prepper, people here need to understand that you might prep for everything, but if your preps aren't secured and you get 10 feet of water coming through your property, your preps are useless. Okay. So that's one thing I want to kind of point out here. I've been telling people here to prep and prep and prep and stack food and stack supplies. But the reality is, even if they did such a thing, um, those supplies are probably waterlogged, deluged, and no longer safe. So how do you prepare for something like this? Well, I'll be honest with you. We all knew a storm was coming. They come. We're in the Philippines. We get storms all the time, and I think the speed in which the rain came down was unprecedented. Well, it's been at least 10 years since I've seen it this bad out here. I don't want to say unprecedented. But even then, people could have done something. They could have, say, hey, we got a big storm coming. Especially in the early mornings when they saw the rivers rising, they could have probably start putting their preps into a safe spot so they can get to it after the fact. This particular picture coming up next is a friend of mine's home, right? So that is what their house looked like 24 hours ago. Their brand new refrigerator and just their furnitures, their belongings. Now, no one I know got hurt um, in this particular flooding event yesterday. However, most Filipinos, this is their life. Everything they own, everything they have is gone, right? So they're going to have to spend a lot of time cleaning and getting things back in order. The trash and trash collection stuff is going to happen for at least a week out here, if I recall how it typically works. remember, this is just day two. Everyone's just scrambling to get the mud out of their house, salvage what they can, and the trash teams are going to be running around for at least a week out here taking care of business. So, as a prepper, again, I'm very fortunate, um, much more fortunate than so many, and I'm thankful that not impacted by the storm. But comment down below and tell me, how do you prepare for something like this? If your house is flooded and all your preps are gone, and it was something you weren't expecting, how are you going to recover from this? Your whole life is now in a bad way. Now, that said, um, today's different, right? So the water's receded in most places. There's still standing water and mud in a lot of places. And people are getting back to normal. I mean, our water shop's open today and other businesses are open today. But I know many other businesses that are not. So, not only are property and damage destroyed, but their livelihood is not working as well either, right? So another friend of mine has a restaurant, and they posted on their Facebook, "Hey, they're closed," right? Because their shop was inundated. They got to, they serve food, so they got a whole lot of cleaning to do um, in their business, not just their home. So this is something that I often wonder about. The resiliency of the Filipino people, which is very strong. Um, and just the ability to come back from something like this. I'm going to tell you, I'll probably do a follow up video in a week because it amazes me that here all signs of this will be gone in maybe 2 weeks. Everything will be back to normal. Now, the main thing I'm talking and telling everyone I can speak to out here is now that you're doing the cleanup, you got to really focus on the type of diseases you can get after a flood, right? Everything was touched by this muddy, dirty water. Everything is suspect and is contaminated, and everything needs to be cleaned. And I always hate to say it, but when you see people swimming and wading in flood water, the first thing that comes to my mind is the diseases, and what are you going to do about them? I tell you what, I literally ordered rain boots this morning to add more to my preps for situations like this that if it occurs again next time. Guys, I'm not trying to plead or ask for anything. This is just an after action day two report out. Um, Disasters can hit. This is the main reason I prep. We can talk about world economics and geopolitical wars, and we can talk about um, other issues involving climate and stuff. But this is what affects me directly. This is what prepping means to me, is the ability to bounce back from an event of this nature. And the people here in this town, they will certainly. But I just wanted to say, hey, some of you guys knew I was posting shorts on flooding, and I thought I'd put together a little quick piece here. And comment down below if it affected you or not, or what's your plan for prepping in a disaster such as this. All right, guys, thanks for listening to me ramble. Until next time, please, everyone be safe. Thank you.